Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. I'm going to demonstrate how to make this valance that you can use in any room in your house. And it's going to have a depth or a length of about 15 inches. I'm going to show you how you can make it any width that you want. So let's get started. The very first thing you want to do is you're going to measure the width of your window. So you're going to measure across here, but you're also going to add 3 inches from this side and 3 inches from this side, because that's usually the standard placement for the curtain rod, is usually 3 inches out on each side of the window. Take your width and multiply it times 1.5. You want the curtain to be 1.5 times wider than your measurement you originally took. So my window has a total of 93 inches, and I'm going to add 1 inch to that for seam allowance. So it's a total of 94 inches. So the finished size is going to be somewhere between 93 and 94 inches. It all depends on how wide you make your seam. And then the height of the valance is about 15 inches. So to make my curtain valance, I'm using 3 different colors in it. So for the top fabric, I need 3/4 of a yard. For the middle fabric, I need a 1/2 yard. For the bottom layer of fabric, I need 3/4 of a yard. Now, for the top fabric, you're going to cut 3 strips 8 inches wide. For the middle fabric, 3 strips 5.5 inches wide. And then the bottom fabric, 3 strips 8 inches wide. So here's how you're going to lay your fabric out to cut your strips. So for fabric A and C, you'll have your fabric folded with the selvage edges together, and at each side is raw edges. Cut this edge straight, then use a ruler and go over 8 inches this way and cut. Repeat again and cut, and one more time and cut. For fabric B, your fabric is folded the same way, but you're going to cut 3 strips that are 5.5 inches wide. After you've cut your strips, then you want to stack those 3 strips together. So for fabric A, you stack them, B, stack all 3 together, and C, stack them together. Then you're going to cut the selvage ends off. In each fabric group, you're going to take those strips and stitch them together end to end, like you see here, using a 1/4 inch seam. On my valance, I mostly used my serger sewing machine for most of the sewing. I did use some straight stitching from my sewing machine. So if you have a serger, you can serge most of your edges. And so this is what a serger seam looks like, in case you've never seen one before. Here is from a standard sewing machine. So I did my 1/4 inch seam. Then I have these raw edges. Well, you want to make sure those raw edges are covered. So you can either use an overcast stitch, and most computerized and some mechanical sewing machines have stitches like this. Or if you don't have any of that, you then can stitch your 1/4 inch seam and do a zigzag stitch over the raw edges. So after you've got your strips stitched together end to end, you want to now attach them together. So you would take your A fabric, this is mine right here, and your B, and then stitch it together doing that 1/4 inch seam. Remember, you can use a serger, or make sure you use an overcast or zigzag stitch. Then you go and do the same thing to your other strip of fabric. After you've stitched everything together, press those seams flat. And I just pressed all my seams going towards the bottom of the valance. If you're using a serger, sewing machine. Go ahead and serge your top edge and your bottom edge. Now you're going to go to each end of your valance and you're going to fold those side edges over 1/4 inch and press it all the way down. Then fold it again and press. And it's really important you press it with your iron. Don't just finger press. And then you're going to go to your sewing machine and you're going to stitch along this inside folded edge all the way down. When you're done, this is what it looks like. Now you're going to fold the top and bottom edge. For the top edge, you're going to fold it over one time. Then you're going to go and zigzag stitch it down. If you used a serger, you do not need to do the zigzag stitch. Just go ahead and fold it down 1/4 inch. And you're also going to repeat that step for your bottom edge. Now we're going to create the casing for your rod to go in. And to make sure that you're allowing enough space for your rod, I would take your rod and lay it down here, fold your fabric over to see how much you need to fold over. You don't want to make it skin tight and you don't want to make it too loose. You just want it easy to insert the rod. So for mine is a 2-inch wide casing. So I'm going to fold it over like this, and I'm taking my little seam gauge here and to measure that distance. Then go ahead and pin it down. Then you would stitch along the inside folded edge. For my hem, I'm going to fold it up 2 1/4 inches. So if you want your valance longer, you want it more than 15 inches, you could make your hem smaller if you like. Or if you want to shorten it, you can fold it up more. So again, I'm just going to fold it over, take my little seam gauge, set it to 2 1/4 inches, measure, pin it down, and then stitch along the inside folded edge. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that the information I gave you was helpful. If you're interested in making other curtains or just beginner sewing projects in general, scroll down below your YouTube screen to the description section. Then click on Show More or the down arrow to expand it open so that the links will appear. Now don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny. See you next time.